So coming up next is the wall build, and this was so much fun. It was like a big giant jigsaw puzzle, like just cutting all the pallets and like maneuvering them and getting them to fit in there correctly. My best friend filmed the next part, and her like long-term, basically husband, partner helped do the build with me. And so yeah, it was just a lot of good fun. We basically threw the walls up in a day. So, and then like the next day, me and my dad, we did a top double plate on them to just really firm them up, and then put some mending plates over the joints. So yeah, it was a good time. Here it goes. So we wound up extending the back part of the home where the loft will be from the axles back. And we did this by sistering on 3 2x4s and adding an additional layer of plywood. We had to take off these rails, and then also had to remove their mounts. The mounts in the front could not be removed because they had been welded on, they hadn't been bolted on, so we had to notch the wood. And then afterwards, we just slid that right over the front mount, and then the siding will just come down on the side of the home. So these are just screwed into each other and then screwed into the 2x4 that's making up the base of the trailer. And that's just how we achieved an additional 6 inches in the back part of the home. Then we just added a plywood top to make the flooring the same level. We actually started out with just 2 2x4s, and I felt that wasn't enough, so we added an additional 2x4. So there's 3 on each side.
You're gonna live in a tiny house.
Do you like it?
That's my big baby. I love him so much. And this is where it starts to get funky. None of these pallets have any sort of similarity whatsoever. In fact, even the pallets itself is not similar. So when it goes to like cutting them and aligning them, it's really a lot of guesswork and just eyeballing it. Right here, we're connecting them together using just like slats of wood. We go back in and like sure those up with 2x4s as well, and then also with screws, more screws and nails. This is just me and Josh, and we are now just going all in, and it's just same old, fitting them together and screwing them down. This is the first layer done, and it took us about, I'd say, 2.5 hours. And then we just started to add on the additional layer the same way. And I burnt my neck so bad the other day. That's why I'm wearing a freaking towel. The home took roughly 18 pallets to build the bulk of it, and then it will take probably an additional 4 to build up the extension wall for the shed roof. And that's my bestie of 27 years. She did the recording, but I had to sneak a glimpse of her into this. And that little oscillating saw is something else. Let me tell you what, once we started using it, we were just like, all right, let's just fucking cut absolutely everything off with it. So nothing says a good time quite like double plating your walls to square them up and putting on a house wrap in the rain. We're going to wait on putting the roof on until it's not raining and until the home dries out, just because we don't want the integrity of the roof to potentially be threatened due to the moisture and the rain. But hopefully that will be here soon. It dumped like the last 2 days and now it's sprinkling kind of like on and off. So I'm hoping that right now it's kind of dried out. It's stopped for a few minutes, but I am hoping that that continues to be the case. Otherwise, it's going to be a really shitty and wet and cold day. Since that one side wall was floating, in order to square it up with the other side, we measured the bottom and then just used that measurement in order to get it perfectly squared up at the top. And basically this just started the long process of cutting many a 2x4s and interlacing them. Always remember to use safety goggles while using a miter saw, as I was reminded by my final cut of the day on a 2x4 when it launched a giant piece of wood chip into my eye. A short, brief interlude of me showing you the appropriate way how to use a ladder. We just tacked it down to begin with, then that way if we got any of the measurements wrong, we wouldn't be having to take out like 50 screws. And then after that, the process is pretty self-explanatory. It's just more measuring, more cutting, more screwing, in that order. Nothing says build to code quite like using a paint stick to level out any discrepancies in your build. When you double plate, this is how you want your corner lap to look. This is how you get more strength. Then you just tack that bad boy down, add an additional 2x4 on the side for extra support and also to close up the side gap. That area right there could not be double plated, so we used mending plates. We also used mending plates on all of the double plated areas too, just to be extra cautious. And when you're done, if you did it right, you should be able to sit up there and feel comfortable. And if you did it wrong, well, don't sue me.